There is an ancient text that describes something coiled around the entire world, a serpent with its tail in its mouth, sealing everything you know inside it. And it was written to be forgotten. What it guards is the reason you're still here, the reason no one leaves. And once you know what it says, the sky stops looking empty. I'll show you what's written, but hold one thing. The text says these rulers change their faces every hour. What you're about to see them as is not what they are. Comment, "I see the circle," if you want the thing they buried. So here is what the text actually says, and where it comes from, because a claim like this is worthless if you can't trace it. It comes from the Pistis Sophia, and the first thing you need to know is who's speaking in it. Not a narrator, not a priest. It is the risen Christ after the resurrection answering questions put to him by Mary Magdalene, who in this text is the one who understands him best. She asks him directly about the outer darkness. What is it? And his answer is the thing they buried. He tells her the outer darkness is a great dragon, and that its tail is in its own mouth. Sit with that image because it is not decoration. A serpent biting its own tail is a sealed circle. No beginning to slip in through, no end to slip out of. And this one, he says, lies outside the whole world, surrounding the whole world. Not a monster in a cave somewhere on the map, something coiled around the entire map, with the world sealed on the inside of it. And inside that coil are 12 chambers, 12 sealed cells built into the body of the thing that surrounds you, and a ruler set in each one. That's the number the text gives. 12 rulers, 12 archons, ringed around the world in the dark. But the number is the least of it, because it's not the count that should unsettle you. It's the question the text raises and almost no one thinks to ask. If something built a sealed wall around the entire world, tail in its mouth so that nothing passes, what is a wall like that for? What is it keeping in? Before I answer that, and the answer is the whole reason this text was buried. One thing so you have it. These 12 are a single face of a much larger system. The full order of rulers the Gnostics mapped, where they came from and what each was set to do. That's what the second part of the Archon Codex lays out. Every claim tied to the sources so you can check it yourself. If you want the whole map and not just this one ring of it, the link's in the description. You don't need it for what comes next, because what comes next is what these 12 are actually doing in there, and it's stranger than the number. So picture what's inside the coil. Not to catalog it, you couldn't hold all 12 if you tried, and that turns out to be the point. Just look at a few of them, the way the text hands them to you, and let the wrongness register. The first one, in the first cell, wears the face of a crocodile, and like the great dragon that surrounds him, his tail is in his own mouth. Out of his jaws, the text says, comes all cold, all ice, all disease. Further in, one wears the face of a bull, black, another a wild boar, another a vulture, another something the ancient world feared enough to name a basilisk. And then you reach the 10th cell, and the pattern breaks in a way that's genuinely hard to hold. The 10th is not one ruler. It's a swarm of them, and each single one in that swarm wears a face with 7 dragons' heads on it. Not one dragon, 7 on each of many, in one cell in the dark around your world. And your skin is already answering before your mind does, because these are not shapes anything should wear. But here is the revelation underneath the horror, the part that reframes all of it. And it is written plainly in the text, not something I'm adding. It says that every one of these rulers changes his face every hour, changes his name every hour. The crocodile is not a crocodile. The 7-headed thing is not truly 7-headed. Those faces are not what they are. They are what gets seen. The shape a formless power takes when a frightened soul tries to look straight at it and needs it to have edges. Understand what that means, and the whole thing tilts. You are not looking at a zoo of monsters. You are looking at powers with no fixed form at all. 12 regions of something that has to borrow a face to be perceived, and borrows a different one every hour so that it can never quite be named, never quite be pinned, never quite be known. And that word, known, is the crack in the whole design. Because a power you can name is a power you can see clearly, and a power that changes its face every hour is a power built specifically so that you never can. Which raises the question the whole text has been circling, the one they buried it to keep you from asking. 12 unnameable powers sealed in a ring around the world, constantly changing shape so no one can fix what they are. Guarding what? A wall this elaborate isn't built around nothing. So, what is on the inside? What is so important that this is what it takes to keep it from getting out? Here is the part they buried. And it is not what you think, because what you're bracing for is you're trapped. And if that were the whole of it, this text wouldn't have been worth hiding. Everyone already suspects they're trapped. What they buried is something else. The lock has a key, and you were built to hold it. Go back to the strangest detail, the one I told you to hold, that every one of the 12 changes his face every hour, and changes his name every hour. I let you think that was about horror. It isn't. It's about a door. Because the same text that describes these rulers describes exactly how a soul gets past them. And the answer is almost absurdly simple. You pass a ruler by knowing its name. You speak the name, and the one that is named has no more power to hold you. That is the whole mechanism of escape in this system. Not force, not worship, not begging. Naming. To know what a thing truly is, to have its real name, is to walk straight through it. Now put the two facts together, the way they were never meant to be put together. The way out is to know their names. And they change their names every single hour. Do you see it? The shape-shifting was never decoration, and it was never only fear. It is a lock designed against a key you already have. They rename themselves constantly for one reason, to make sure the one thing that would free you, knowing them, is the one thing you can never quite finish doing. You reach for the name, and by the time you have it, it's already another. That is not a monster behaving monstrously. That is a security system running against you, specifically. And that tells you something staggering if you let it. You don't build a lock that elaborate against a prisoner who has no key. The 12 don't change their faces because they're powerful. They change their faces because they're afraid. Afraid of the one act that undoes them. A soul that can truly name them walks out. Everything about how they're built, the shifting, the hiding, the 12-fold wall, is the confession of beings who know that the thing inside can leave if it ever learns to see them clearly. The wall isn't proof of their strength. It's proof of your danger to them. So the question stops being, how do I escape a prison? It becomes something you can actually act on tonight. What would it mean to start knowing them by their real names? The fear, the compulsion, the forgetting, clearly enough that they can't keep changing face on you? Because that is the exit. Not up, past the stars, inward, into seeing exactly what has been moving you, until it can't wear a mask you don't recognize anymore. So let's make it real, because a key you never turn is the same as no key at all. First, the honest part, so you don't misuse this. Naming them is not learning 12 secret words to recite at the moment of death. It isn't a magic password you memorize and keep in your pocket. The text dresses it in cosmic language, gates, names, the hour. But strip the costume off and what's underneath is something you can do at your kitchen table tonight. The rulers change their faces so you can't name them. Naming them here means catching what is actually moving you clearly enough that it can't wear a disguise you fall for. That's it. That's the whole ascent, done in this life instead of after it. Here's how. The next time something moves you hard, a fear that floods in, a compulsion you can't explain, a sudden certainty that you're small or stuck or that there's no point. Stop before you act on it. That flood is one of them, wearing a face. Your job is not to fight it. You don't win by force. You never did. Your job is to name it truly. Ask one question. What is this actually? Not the face it's wearing. Not, this is just who I am. Not, this is simply the truth about my life. Underneath that, is this fear dressed as realism? Is this compulsion dressed as desire? Is this the old forgetting dressed as nothing's wrong, go back to sleep? Name the thing under the mask in plain words out loud if you can. That's fear. That's the compulsion. That's the pull to forget. I see you. And watch what happens in the naming, because this is the mechanism the whole text was pointing at. The instant you name it correctly, it loses the hour. It cannot shift into the next phase fast enough, because you're no longer looking at the face. You're looking at the thing wearing it. For one clear moment, it can't move you, because a ruler that is named and seen has no more power to hold you. That is not a metaphor the text offered. It is the exact promise it made about the gates. The one that is named has no more power. You just moved the gate from the afterlife into this afternoon. You will not do it perfectly. They have the hour. They change fast, and most of the time you'll name it a beat too late after it already moved you. That's fine. That's expected. You are not trying to pass all 12 in a single night and never see them again. You are learning to recognize the shift of a face, and every single time you catch one, even once, even late, you've proven the thing they built the entire wall to prevent, that the light in here can look straight at them and know their name. Do it enough, and their whole advantage, the disguise, the hour, the forgetting, starts quietly to fail. So go back to the beginning, to that ring around the world, the serpent with its tail in its mouth, and the thing in you that tightened when you first pictured it. You know now what that tightening was. It wasn't fear of a monster out there in the dark. It was recognition. Some part of you heard a wall built to keep something in, and understood, before your mind caught up, that the something was you. But you also know now what you didn't at the start. That wall is not the proof of their power. It's the confession of their fear. You don't seal 12 unnameable guards in a ring around a prisoner who has nothing they want and nowhere to go. The whole architecture, the coil, the 12, the faces that never hold still, exists for one reason, because the light sealed inside can leave the moment it learns to look straight at what's holding it and say the true name. They are not the evidence that you're trapped. They are the evidence that you're dangerous. And here's the part that undoes every version of this that tries to rush you, which is fitting, because rushing you is one of the faces they wear. There's no window closing tonight. Nothing expires. You don't have to name all 12 before some deadline, because the wall was never on a clock. It's been coiled there your whole life, and it will still be there the next time something floods in and you stop and look and ask what it actually is. You don't escape in one heroic night. You escape one named face at a time, and every naming is a crack in a wall they told you was solid. This text gives you 12 of them in one ring, but they are one face of a much larger order, and the way past every one of them, the names, the gates, the whole mechanism of how a soul passes the rulers by knowing them, is what the Archon Codex was built to lay out, straight from the sources, so you can check it yourself. The video showed you the wall and put the first name in your hand. The Codex is the rest of the map. It's linked in the description if you want it. So here's the one thing I'll ask, and it isn't urgent, because urgency, by now, you can recognize by name. If the circle made something in you tighten tonight, if you felt it, comment, "I see the circle." You said it at the start before you knew what it was. Now you do. Say it again, out loud, where the others who've stopped mistaking the wall for the sky can find each other, because a ruler whose name you know has no more power to hold you. Not up there, after you die, right here. The next time it changes its face and you say, I see you,